Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Okay, Bob, so you're a gentleman who's been in the IT business all your life, and then you decided to come down here to Florida. And what else to do but to write a book, right?
Sure. And the main reason is I was used to writing software
Right.
for computers to read and do their thing. And nobody in my family could understand what I did. But by writing stories, they can read them and, get something out of them. It was a better way to communicate with people. Since I was out of the IT world, I decided to publish some short stories.
Well, and you also say that you had the great opportunity because you were a loving, caring husband whose wife had knee surgery. And what are you going to do while she's recuperating, right? Twiddle your thumbs.
Well, exactly. I had to be there because it's very difficult for nurses to keep up with patients. And she was very, very sick from the medication. So I was there to help out.
We call it being an advocate.
Okay.
No, you really, bring up a very good point. Bob, a lot of elder population now, they don't have advocates. They're kind of faces alone, so she was lucky to have you.
Yes, and so that's what I did, and while she was sleeping, I was writing.
But you had to have, I don't know what your education background is, but a lot of people want to write, but they can't come up with the kind of way you wrote. You're a very good writer.
I didn't know. I didn't know how good I was. I just knew that I wanted to get it into a book and say, look, this is what I did. I can't do that with the rest of my work. I don't have a piece of work that I could put down and say, I did this, and show it to people. But this I can.
Well, for
and
people,
I love the writing. I love writing a story. In fact, I might be ringing my own chime here, but I listened to this. I converted it to voice.
You did a book on tape.
I have software. Well, I have software that'll do it automatically, and so I've been listening to it in preparation for our interview, and I really like what I did.
I love it.
So,
well, I have to say, I'm glad that you said that because I've asked other authors, as you've been just explaining. And a lot of them say, I don't even remember writing that.
And that's why I wanted to, brush up on it on my way down here. I listened to it in the car. I listened to it last night.
It's kind of miraculous, isn't it, that all of a sudden you get this wonderful story. Said, where did that come from?
Yeah, and I don't know. What I can't tell you right now is where I got some of these ideas. I can't.
Yeah, and I didn't find a theme through it. They're all different.
They are all different. Yeah, it's a potpourri. So, I don't know how you would explain it, but they're all different, and they're from different times.
Right. I just want to tell everybody about this book. So many people sit around, they watch television, and it's very unfulfilling. There's a lot of stuff on television just puts you in depression. And if you read Bob Albert's book, it's got the cutest cover. I'm going to talk to him about it in a minute. Short Stories by R.A. Albert. It really is interesting. You'll get lost in them. And the thing I like about it is if you don't have a whole week to read a book or something, you can read a couple and then you can put it down and then you're not lost. You just go to the next one. So, you really, and the other thing I like too is the printing is large.
Yeah.
So people...
That's a big concern. I have trouble reading small print. And I love the instructions you get with anything you buy.
Oh, please.
I have to get a magnifying glass out. So this...
Yeah, it's easy to read. And like my husband has macular degeneration in one of his eyes, and he uses a lot of light, and he looks at the print and he says, can you read that? Well, unfortunately, I have a very unusual vision. It's called second sight, where it's where the cataracts are starting, but what it's done is it's caused my certain places in my eye to open up so I can read the tiniest without glasses or anything.
Wow.
It's a rare thing. My mother had it. Only 5% of the population has it, but I'm not going to dwell on that. It's just that I understand what you're saying because I live with someone who can't see instructions, and then everything's black on black, right? The instructions. Is that
I
because
know.
it's cheaper to produce it that way?
I have no idea, but that drives me nuts because you have to get a powerful light on that to read it.
Right. And so you're from Connecticut, and do you have friends still in Connecticut? Do they know you've written this book?
Well, oh, yes. Most of my family still lives in Connecticut. So, yeah, they know that I've written the story. My mother is still alive.
How old is your
She's 94.
mother?
I think.
Yay! That's wonderful.
And she's still driving, still getting around, but she loves the book, and
Yeah.
I have yet to send her a copy of the magazine,
Oh,
but
really?
I will.
Oh, you have to do that. Well, let me just tell you, there were a couple of things. There are a couple of them that I really loved. I love the contest. I wrote about that in your review. How did you come up with that idea?
That one I do remember how I came up with that. There is a Stephen King book that has a similar theme, except in Stephen's version, you win by killing the other person. So
That's nice.
so I did it a little different. This is more like tag football versus real tackle football.
Yeah, but there was a theme to it. There was a morality in
Yeah,
it.
the hero, the protagonist, I guess you would call him, has a real positive attitude, even though he's in such squalor and poverty. He keeps thinking things are going to get better. So this contest is the way he sees to come out of his poverty.
That's why I loved it. Yeah,
And it works. You can see
it
he's
was
on
great.
his way.
Right,
and
right.
that one could be a whole novel. Certainly can.
Well, it
That's
grabbed
just
me.
That's just the beginning.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I do see where you could expand some of these, or maybe some new ones that you're writing now. But I would just tell you about it. Short stories. There really is a place for short stories,
Yeah.
and you can get them out quickly.
I'm thinking that is a way I should go. I started writing a novel, and a novel is so big. And frankly, I write for a while. If I don't do it quickly, I forget what I wrote, so I have to read it again. Short stories, as well as being easy to read because you can read one piece and then do something else and go on to the next one the next day. I think writing short stories is similar. You can finish one in a day or two. It's ready to print and go move on to the next one. So I'm kind of, I want to write more, but I'm not sure which direction to go in.
Yeah, well, you'll know. The thing is that maybe doing a couple more of them, I just have to say that when I do get a lot of things to review, and I don't choose all of them because sometimes the book is big, and I suppose if I took a lot of time, I'd really get into it. But it's that's what's happening, I think, with people. It's just there are too many books out there, and unless you're a Stephen King or 50 Shades of Grey, they're just books. Like we have a book we wrote in, it's sitting in the closet when we didn't sell. Maybe we sold hundreds or something, and then they're sitting in the closet, thousands of books, and that's so silly. But this is a great little book. Now, one thing I don't know if I asked you about this, but your cover is hysterical. I can't figure out what this is. I love his shoes, the little guy's shoes.
Oh,
green.
yeah.
Tell me
Well,
about who did your cover.
I did the cover.
You did it.
Yeah.
Didn't
And,
I bet is that your condo in the background?
I wish it was. That's actually on the coast of North Carolina. I took this picture. It's out in the Outer Banks, and excuse me. So I used that for a background, and then the little guy I made up from images that I pirated from the internet and changed a bit. And the guy looking down saying, okay, here's this guy's short. He's a short story. That's me. That's me, and I just changed the head and the hands.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's great. And, but where'd you get the 2 different color shoes from?
I got those off of the internet, and I just took. Actually, the pair was the same color, and using Photoshop, you can change the color.
But when I saw that, I kind of figured you had a side to you that was pretty funny. I thought that was really neat. So that's cute, and that makes a difference. And then, of course, tell me about the back. The back of the book, I was a little bit curious.
Well, the back of the book is some quotes from the stories inside.
No, but the picture in the back.
Oh, the picture?
What is that? Mountains or rocks?
That is.
I couldn't figure it out.
That is the Grand Tetons. That's
no
a segment.
Kidding.
That's a segment of a picture I have of the Grand Tetons.
Okay.
And I use that because one of the stories in there is actually factual about a hike that I took in the Grand Tetons.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was a little bit confused. Okay, so of all the stories, which is your favorite?
I think my favorite is the one about the Grand Tetons.
Oh, okay. So that's
because it's me daydreaming at work because our machines are down, and I'm just thinking about things that I've done in the past, and I go through a lot of different adventures as I dwell in detail on one of them.
What's the name of the one you just talked about? I don't remember.
Well,
what I'm looking for it.
I'm going to find it.
Yeah, find it in the find it in the front. Where's it?
Amphitheater Lake Trail.
Okay.
And that's because I hiked. My destination was Amphitheater.
Huh. Okay, I'm looking for it. Here.
Yeah, it's on page 20.
Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, yeah, there, Amphitheater. Sorry, missed that one. Page 20, right. And let's see how long that one is. That was the other thing you did. Some were much longer than others.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty interesting because all of a sudden you get to one, this is a long one. I see it. Right. Well, when you write these, see, that's a long one. Oh, yeah, that's a short story, but it's a long. Okay, so it went from page 20 to page 45.
Yeah.
Okay, so you really, but you really did that. That wasn't, you didn't invent that.
No, that's not invented. I really did that. And I really went through some of the thought processes that I write about. Because I'm in there all alone. And there are certain things I wanted to do that I didn't because I could see that there was a possibility of dying in the process. You're up pretty high in these mountains, and there are things. And one of the things I found while I was there is I found a pair of dark glasses, a flashlight, prescription glasses. Now, who would leave a pair of prescription glasses?
Wow.
And
maybe they were eaten by
like
a bear.
A day before I got there, a couple to 3 people died of exposure.
Well, what made you? Are you a hiker? Is that why
I like doing things like that.
Did you go by yourself when you went?
I was alone.
No kidding. Your wife
yeah.
must have been so. Did you do it while you were married?
Oh yeah, she didn't know what I was doing.
Oh.
Until she read the story.
Oh, that is funny.
So
you have to be careful when you're a writer. A lot of things from inside come out. That's people. Will say,
and if you read this, you'll see that. And she's read it, so she knows. It was a vacation for me from family responsibilities.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. But going back now, so that was the one that was very important to you. But some of them, what's another one that you think of that was pretty special to you when you get back? You did one that was so short. I'm trying to remember which was. It wasn't Stephen and the Clown? No, I like that one too, actually. I thought Stephen and the Clown was really good.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm trying to see which
But there was a
one.
very short one here. Let me see. I just went by
Oh,
it.
the taxi driver.
Yeah, the taxi driver.
I like the taxi
Now, that
driver
was
because
funny.
I put a ventriloquist dummy in the thing.
Right.
And
I mean, that was hysterical.
helps
Well,
him pick up what he thinks is a girlfriend,
yeah.
but she's not. She ends up being a lot more than that.
But you have, let's see. So I think you did 20. Weren't there 20 of them?
There's about 20 of them. There's 20 of them.
20
in here.
chapters. And the interesting thing, I mean, you could read some. Why don't you read some of the chapter names? And if you have a comment on each one, it'd be fun.
Well,
for us.
there's the starting with the LRU room.
Yeah, what is that? I
Least
forgot.
recently used algorithm, which we use in computers for paging memory in and out. I applied it to our garage, which if you look at our garage, it's so full of stuff. There's no way to put a car in it. We have a golf cart, 2 kayaks, Christmas decorations, the works. And so you're always wondering, well, what can I get rid of in here? So what I set up was an automated way to do that. There's a special room called the LRU room that takes no room in your house. It's like putting computer information in the cloud. It's up there in a server someplace, but it takes no space in your computer. So this room automatically decides what you haven't used in a long time. So the least recently used object, and the bigger it is, gets swapped out, get put in this room. And they stay there. If you don't use it for a period of time, then it automatically goes up for sale.
Oh, I was curious about. So I see where you have. Yeah, I was very interested in that. That was you call the clutter fixer.
Right.
Clutter. I think we all have what you talked
So
about.
I wish that was real.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I find is whatever I throw out today, I need tomorrow.
Well, but I want to tell you something. It's interesting. We've all had that thing. We can't throw anything away. But we lived in a house for 20. My husband built a house. We lived there for 28 years, and it was over there across from Boynton Beach in a little place called Ocean Ridge. And when we left, we pretty much got rid of a lot of things, and we moved to a 3-bedroom apartment. And we are so happy without the clutter, without all the responsibilities. We don't even have a storage unit.
And that's
So
good.
it can be
And
done.
we did the same thing. Our storage unit is our garage. But the next one is the unpleasant football coach. It's about a football coach who seems plain nasty, but he gets the team to perform the way he needs to, and he secretly hides a play in there that nobody knows about. Even most of the kids on the football team don't know it, and they pull that play off at the right time.
Did you play football?
No.
But you just thought of it because you watch football. Okay.
And I don't know where that came from. Inside my head is a poem that's a little hard to describe. It's it's something to read. Decisions is a poem. He was bad for her is another poem.
Yeah, but stop now. Don't go any further because, it's one thing to write, but how do you get this poem in your head? I mean, you're pretty good at that. How do you wind up doing that? Why don't you? Let's see. Is this a short one? Yeah. Why don't you going to read Decisions?
How about
Just read
Decisions?
It. Yeah, read it to everyone.
Let me read it.
We have time. On page 17.
I have to get to the page. Okay. Decisions. I think back on the decisions of my life. Some made quickly based on responsibilities perceived. Where would I be if I thought through more carefully, deciding differently? Where would the others in my life be if I decided differently? Where would the others in my life be if they decided differently? Of course, I'll never know. They'll never know. And what does it matter? Perhaps my heart decided for me. Perhaps their heart decided for them. Perhaps the currents of life really gave me no choice. My decisions put me where I am, and from here I cannot say if this is the best place for me. Certainly, free will has led me here. Certainly, this is uniquely my place.
Well, you're a good reader too, and it's funny when you have an author read something, it's different than when you read it
Yeah, it would be.
because you put a lot of heart and soul in it.
And,
Let's see, I think, let me see, wait, we have, well, inside my head, that's long. I tell you what we'll do, because we'll let you keep reading, and then I think we're just going to have to say goodbye, because but inside my head is very good too, isn't it? Okay, and then
I like it.
I'm just going to tell you thank you for being on here, because I think we may not run out of time. Why don't you try that one?
Well, I'll go until you run out.
Yeah, okay.
What is this thing I can do inside my head? I can see all that I am, all that I am not. The question I pose, the answer is not found, and some that are. Inside my head, can you? Do you? The outside world cannot see me that I see, the truth of me inside my head. I talk to me, I answer me. The conversation is silent. To all except me inside my head. I'm not scary to me, but fear to others I might be. So on the outside, I wear a disguise. So much time and effort is given to support my disguise. I am tired inside my head. I wonder right now if there is someone somewhere who would find the me inside of me with disguise discarded beautiful.
You know, Bob, that was just absolutely great that you came up with things like that, because it's true inside our heads.
I'm not sure where it came from, but
it's good.
Just something that made sense to me and conveyed my feelings.
It's terrific. I mean, it's the fact that that's what I'm saying. So the short stories, you have poems, you have long stories, you have short stories. So you said before we started the show that you have another book you're working on.
I am.
How many stories do you have in that already?
Well, this one is a novel, so it's one big story. It's a historical novel, in part. It's also a science fiction novel, and it's a love story.
Science fiction. Science fiction and a love story. And do you have a name chosen yet?
No, I don't, because I frankly don't know how it's going to end yet, and I have an idea that I'm trying to put together, and it's part of the creative process, which I don't think any two writers do it the same.
So you have a room in your home. Is it your writer's room where you shut the door and everyone leaves you alone?
Well, it's just the two of us, so we pretty much, if I need to, but it's
Do you have a dog or a cat?
No
or
dog, no cat.
Oh,
no.
okay. So nobody's going to buy. You don't have to take the dog out.
No.
You just can sit there and work. How long would you work at a time without getting up?
Oh, maybe 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah, at the most.
Well, we have a lot of listeners and we have a lot of readers, and a lot of them, I'm sure, would like to write a book, but they're a little nervous, a little scared.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give them?
I'd just do it. Just do it. Get started, keep rolling. You can always go back and change it. I don't know how many, made lots of changes in this. In the novel that I'm working on, I've changed it around so many times.
Painters do that. They start painting and then they don't like it and they keep changing it. Yeah. But still, it does take something to sit down and to say, okay, I'm going to start. But I think your advice is right. Just put the pen to the paper, or if you're on a computer, start, right?
Yeah, I have to get started. It's like an exercise program. Take the first step and go.
Well, it's been such a pleasure having you on our radio show, and everyone will be, if you want to share this with some other people, eventually this will be on YouTube, and we always let our our listeners know that. And we will be having our Boomer Expo coming up January 22nd. And we will be having books from all our authors there. And we'll also, in the January issue, we'll be listing some of the books that we'll have. So I'm not finished with you yet. I'll see you again, I know.
Okay.
And thank you very
Good.
much.
Well,
This was
thank
such
you.
a
I
pleasure.
enjoyed being here.
Yeah, I enjoyed having you here. So thank you. And